All right, today we are diving into something that is absolutely critical for any marketer out there, attribution modeling. We're going to break down exactly how you can figure out which of your marketing efforts are truly moving the needle.
So let's just get right to it with the one question that's probably on every business owner's mind. You're putting money into social media ads, email campaigns, Google search, but how do you really know which of those dollars are bringing in sales? Well, that's the exact problem attribution modeling was created to solve.
So here's what we've got on deck for this explainer. We'll kick things off with the basics and the why, then we'll get into the different models, some common challenges, and the tools that can help. Then we'll wrap it all up with what you need to take away. Ready? Let's do it.
All right, first things first. What in the world is attribution modeling anyway? Before we get into all the different strategies and types, let's make sure we've got a really solid foundation. You know, to put it simply, attribution modeling is basically the science of giving credit where credit is due. Think about it. When a customer finally buys something, they've probably seen a few of your ads, maybe read an email, or clicked on a social post. Attribution is just the system you use to figure out which of those interactions actually helped make that sale happen.
You know, a really good way to picture this is to think about a soccer team scoring a goal. The person who kicks the ball into the net gets the glory, right? But what about the midfielder who made that perfect pass? Or the defender who started the whole play from the back? Attribution modeling helps you see that entire play and give credit to everyone who had a hand in the goal. Okay, so that brings us to the big question, right? Why even bother with all this? What does it actually do for your business?
Well, this is where it really hits home. When you know what's working, you can actually optimize your marketing spend. Stop throwing money at channels that just aren't cutting it. It lets you fine-tune your campaigns, get a crystal clear picture of your ROI, and, this is the big one, make smart, data-driven decisions instead of just guessing. All right, now we're getting to the heart of it, the different types of attribution models. And this is where things get really interesting, because each model, it tells a totally different story about your customer's journey, and picking the right one, that's key. So let's kick things off with the two most straightforward models, first touch and last touch. First touch gives 100% of the credit to the very first time a customer ever interacted with you. It's awesome for understanding brand awareness. In our soccer analogy, that's giving all the credit to the defender who first won the ball. Then you've got last touch, which gives all the credit to the final interaction right before the sale, the player who scored the goal. It's simple for sure, but it completely ignores all the teamwork that happened before. But what if you're thinking, hey, every step in the journey mattered? Well, that's exactly where the linear model comes into play. It's kind of like the everyone gets a trophy approach to marketing. It just takes all the credit for a sale and splits it perfectly evenly across every single touch point that customer had with you.
So picture this, a customer sees a Facebook ad, then they watch one of your YouTube videos, they open an email, and then they finally click that last ad to buy something. With the linear model, boom, each of those gets an equal 25% of the credit. It's fair, it's balanced, and it gives you a decent look at the whole journey. Okay, but hold on. What if the touch points that happen right before the sale are, more important? Well, the time decay model says absolutely. It gives more and more credit to the interactions as they get closer to that final conversion, with the credit kind of decaying the further back in time you go. And you can see it right here. That first Facebook ad they saw weeks ago, it gets a little bit of credit, maybe 10%. But that final ad they clicked just before hitting buy, that gets the lion's share. This is super useful for businesses with longer sales cycles, where that final push really counts. Next up, we've got another really popular one called the position-based model, or as a lot of people call it, the U-shaped model. This one's all about valuing the opener and the closer. It says the two most important moments are the very first interaction that made someone aware of you and the very last one that sealed the deal.
So here's how that breaks down. This model might give a big chunk of credit, like say 40%, to that very first touch point, and another 40% to the very last one. Then that 20% left over, it gets sprinkled across all the other interactions in the middle. It's a really balanced way to see what's creating awareness and what's driving that final conversion.
Okay, so all of these models sound fantastic in theory, right? But, and there's always a but, putting them into practice in the real world, well, that's not always so simple. Let's talk about some of the challenges you're probably going to run into.
I mean, for one, your data is probably all over the place, stuck in different silos. And think about it. Customers are jumping from their phone to their laptop. That's a cross-device tracking nightmare. Not to mention trying to connect an online ad to someone walking into your physical store. These are seriously complex problems, and you have to be smart about it.
especially with all the data privacy stuff going on.
But don't worry, you don't have to go and solve all these massive, complex problems all on your own. This is exactly where some specialized tools can be a total game changer.
Yeah, the good news here is that even though the setup can be pretty technical, there are some really powerful tools out there that are designed to just cut through all that noise and give you a clear, single view of what's really going on across all your channels.
So instead of just shouting out one specific tool, let me tell you what you should be looking for in any solution. You gotta ask, does it track not just the last click, but also the assisted purchases, all those other touch points that helped out? Does it measure your true net profit on ad spend, not just return on ad spend? And can it map that whole customer journey across every channel? Those are the features that make a real difference.
Okay, let's tie all of this together now with some final thoughts and, more importantly, what you can actually do next. Look, if you remember just one thing from this whole explainer, let it be this. There is absolutely no one-size-fits-all solution here. The best model for a software company with a 6-month sales cycle is going to be completely different from an e-commerce shop selling t-shirts. Your model has to fit your business and your customers.
So, what's your first step? It's simple. Go dive into your own data. Start mapping out what your customer's journey actually looks like. From there, you can pick a model that seems to fit that story. And hey, you can always test it out and change it later.
And that really brings us to the final, most important question. Now that you know the models, now that you have the framework, what story is your data telling you? Figuring that out could honestly change everything.